And we do have Rob Harris joining us on the line once again on Skype. And, well, Rob, you join us in our very last show of the year 2015. And the timing seems to be perfect when you consider that Sepp Blatter, well, his hearing started today. Can you give us an update on this hearing and on what it all looks like for Sepp Blatter at this point?
Well, yeah, today was FIFA's day in court for Sepp Blatter. It's a couple of months ago since he was suspended by FIFA. He had to leave his office in October to start the suspension while being investigated over financial irregularities. And today he was back at FIFA HQ, back to the building he once presided over as the great leader, to be quizzed over this past irregularities that he's suspected of. And if you cast your mind back, it's in September when it first emerged that Blatter had apparently authorised this 2 million Swiss franc payment to Michel Platini, which has been investigated by the Swiss authorities, and this is what led to his FIFA suspension. And he was quizzed about that today by FIFA's ethics judge, and as well about some past dealings with Jack Warner and TV rights as well.
Now, for Sepp Blatter, what we've seen in the media, well, from him and his lawyer, is what seems a defence that's quite confident. Do they have reason to be as confident as they are sounding?
Well, it'd be highly unlikely for someone defending himself in a case probably to come out and say that they weren't confident of succeeding in that case. But I think it really sums up Sepp Blatter. Blatter has, throughout his whole reign, always sort of felt he's in the right. He's just doing the best for football, and he's never really seen wrongdoing around him, and always sort of distanced himself from wrongdoing. And you can actually see his defence in this case, which is the fact he was just, as he says, honouring a past debt to Michel Platini, authorising his payment in 2011. The problem is on the prosecution side in the FIFA case is the fact they say he couldn't authorise his payment because, first of all, it hadn't been appearing as a debt in the FIFA accounts for all the years that it was owed. If you cast your mind back, Platini wasn't being paid in 2011 for recent work. He was being paid for work that was carried out from up to 2002. This was very old debt. The main problem is as well the fact he didn't seem to tell the FIFA Executive Committee at the time that he was authorising a payment to a fellow Executive Committee member, which is the key phrase, a potential conflict of interest.
Well, in the interest of time, you've already mentioned Michel Platini. I'm going to ask you about that and one other issue that I'd love for you to touch on, and that's the freezed FIFA accounts. But also, Michel Platini, he's a man who's seen his case thrown out by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. He's denied any wrongdoing and well, decided not to attend his hearing, which starts on Friday. Give us your thoughts on all of that, including the freezed account in as far as FIFA, or frozen.
Well, yes, Platini is the man who received the 2 million Swiss franc payment in 2011. It only emerged in 2015, 3 months ago, the fact that this payment had even been made. Platini insists it was a legitimate debt. The problem is it was seemingly an oral contract, and there isn't any evidence out there on paper to prove that this debt was owed. Platini said he isn't going to attend the hearing tomorrow in Zurich, unlike Blatter, who did today. He's a bit angry. He claims that the whole process is a bit of a sham, and he thinks that it's already been prejudged, and the fact he's already going to be found guilty. What last week's hearing was at the Court of Arbitration for Sport was an attempt to lift the temporary suspension, and he wanted to be at the Euro 2016 draw, which took place in Paris last weekend. What he's going to try to do is if he is found guilty by this FIFA ethics court, he will then use the Court of Arbitration again, but this time the court will be judging on the actual merits of the case and the actual evidence, rather than last week, which was the merits of a temporary suspension. It's quite technical, but what Platini is hoping to do is do what Mohammed bin Hammam achieved, if you cast your mind back to a name from FIFA past, a former vice president, a former election candidate against Blatter in 2011. He was found guilty of election bribery wrongdoing, but then the Court of Arbitration for Sport sort of leaned on his side a bit, and actually he was successful there until eventually he was basically forced out of football for good.
Well, Rob, firstly, we'd love to thank you for joining us during the course of 2015 in ensuring that Africa is informed and fully informed on this FIFA issue. And also, we look forward to seeing you and hearing from you in 2016, of course, in trying to build this relationship between you and this African continent. Thank you for your time. Have a great New Year's and a super Christmas.
Happy New Year to all of you at SuperSport as well.
Well, thank you very much, Rob. So there you have it. For Michel Platini, what, 6 months ago, he could have been thinking of being possibly FIFA president. He was looking forward, of course, to the Euros in France next year. Things are looking very different now for Michel Platini. And also, well, Sepp Blatter as well.